Hello, YouTube.
Okay, we're on. We are on. Okay, we're here with Ryan. Stick your head in there. You're probably, oh, you're on the other side. Ryan, Isaac.
That's Ryan.
Yeah.
This is me.
Tim and Lynn Kitchens. They're new to our volunteer team. And then, of course, we have Jolene that is coming to us online from Iowa. Amy Miller, the person who is doing our scheduling, will probably come on a little bit later. We've had her over in Greensburg, Kansas, and so she generally will pop in a little bit later, and perhaps her mom with her, Elisa Miller. You may see them at some point during 5 o'clock, because that's kind of when they do their thing. So, thanks everybody for coming. Ryan has been gracious enough to set this all up and record it and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll have this for posterity and in the Facebook group and in different places online. So this will be helpful. Some of the things that I wanted to cover on the stuff that we're going to be doing today. One is you guys are doing an awesome job, especially in my absence, I guess, or infrequency, I suppose it would be. One of the things that's happening is for the past month, and it's going to end next week, I've had a friend of mine from Paraguay, Hernan, visit, and he's doing a residency right now, trying to get as much Westside DNA as he can to start planting. He's going to be starting planting churches down in Paraguay in South America. And developed a partnership with us here at Westside. So I speak Spanish, and we already have that relationship. This was, Jolene, if you remember, this was one of the big rocks that we had talked about in that whole translation thing that Elisa was mentioning. That this whole project for the past month has been about that. So that's
awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be neat to see how God uses this whole thing going forward. But anyway, that's one of the main reasons. Oh, Amy's here with us. Yay, Amy! You guys probably know Amy because she's the one who scheduled you.
Yes.
And
Hi, Amy. Jim.
Hi.
Jim and Lynn.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
I'm going to try to
Hi,
get...
Amy. Hey.
Hey, Amy.
How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Good, good.
Okay. Music is off. Awesome. So just so we don't have any weird background stuff. I was just introducing everybody, Amy, so you didn't miss anything.
Okay. Awesome.
I was talking about how good you guys have done in my semi-absence. It's been really cool to see the number of people and the way that you guys are ministering. It's becoming more and more clear to me that you really don't need me so much. I know that I can always help and my presence is always good. So I know that. But clearly you guys can do it. And I'm not as necessary, which is a good, healthy thing. It's a good, healthy place that we're in right now. And I thought it was great how God continues to bring us folks to add to what he's doing, and you guys are part of that too. So
It's exciting.
it is
Really exciting.
It is really cool. I did have a couple of questions since Lynn, you probably haven't done anything yet.
No, I was up there.
Right. But Jim, you did a little bit, and I saw that you popped in. And since you have fresh eyes on the whole process, what are your thoughts and your observations from just seeing it for the first time? As a normal person and as a volunteer, how can we make it better? And how can what are some of the things that you picked up on?
Oh boy. I was really impressed. Ryan and Boyd and you were showing me the ropes, and it's getting familiar. The software seems pretty intuitive and easy to use. I think there are a lot of different bells and whistles. I know there are a lot of different roles that, I mean, we're going to be chat artists to start, and I know there are a lot of different roles that we'll get familiar with. It sounds like everything's covered, and there's nothing that I can see at this point. There's no suggestions I can make for improvement at this point. Maybe as we go forward, but it just seems like a well-oiled machine, you know, at this point. It was, I don't know, it's, everybody, the people I ran into all seemed to know what they were doing. You know?
All right.
So I'm looking forward to getting into it and seeing what, I suppose once we start chatting with people and offending people, then we'll, we'll
Exactly. Well, the cool thing is, you guys have joined a really strong team. So I'm sure for us, it doesn't feel like a well-oiled machine, but it's good to know that it feels that way from the outside, and that's really due to the caliber of people that see the ministry for what it is and see how it impacts people. And you know, just even this morning, we, you know, almost 4,500 people visited us online this morning, and we still got this afternoon to do.
I guess one thing that struck me, it's clicked, you know, that we can do this from home, or like I'm actually gonna be traveling the next 3 weeks, and and I mean the idea that we're available, you can really do this like Jolene, or I mean do it from anywhere. You don't have to be here necessarily. That's I really like that, you know, so that if I'm on the road and need, you know, and help is needed, I could, you know, I could just get in and do it. That's sweet.
So Jim and Lynn, why don't you, since we've got a lot of the team here and it's being recorded for the rest of the team that can't make it, why don't you share a little bit of your story? How you came to know Westside, how you came to know Christ, you know, what you see in the online ministry, just so that the team can get to know you.
We actually, several years ago, our son was living up here, and we were trying to help him find a church in Kansas City because we were in Emporia, and somebody recommended this one, and so we came up and visited with him. And I just remember the first time I visited, I thought, damn, this church. I mean, it just, something struck me, and then...
We were living in Emporia
yeah.
at the time.
And it was, what, 5 or 6 years later?
Here we are.
We moved up here. And so...
For Westside or for other reasons?
No, for work.
For work, but I had when he was moving up here, we lived in Emporia for 20 years before this, and when he was moving up here, I sent out an email. I said, you guys know any good, they may recommend churches in Kansas City. We got a number of recommendations, but Westside was the most frequent church recommended. And we visited a number of them. We'd come up, or, you know, he was happy to go to church, but he really kind of didn't want to go alone. So we'd drive up from Emporia and go. So we, you know, wound up here we are. We're from California. Before, well, I guess we're from Kansas now, but before Emporia, we went to school in Southern California, and we have 4 children. All the youngest is a senior at KU. He'll be a senior next year at KU. The others are graduated and gone on to other things. I grew up in the church, and the Methodist church, and as soon as I could run away from it, I did. College and high school, and met some friends in my fraternity that were involved with campus. It was called Campus Crusade for Christ at the time. Now I think they're called Cru. And you know, I heard the gospel presented, and I always felt like I was okay with God, but I really never heard the gospel clearly and responded at that time. So that was a long time ago, and just over the years, you know, gradually, you know, growing in our relationship with Jesus, and come to this point. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, we really got serious about it when I was pregnant with our oldest son, and so that's when we decided if this is gonna be a commitment, you know, we need to commit. And so actually, the church that we started attending then, I was about 8 months pregnant when I was baptized. And
our oldest.
yeah, and then we and then we just gradually got more and more involved. More people were studying.
So that's awesome. Share a little bit about why online ministry.
I guess I'm coming at it more from the technology aspect because I love technology.
Oh, you do?
So, yeah.
Great.
So
Oh, yay!
didn't say I know a lot, but I do love it.
Mhm.
Trying. So that's kind of the angle that I'm coming in, and hospitality kind of.
Mhm.
So that's my.
Lynn worked in Emporia. She was the technology
I was a building tech for
building
an
tech in an
school.
elementary school for a number of years. So. And we both just really enjoy the technology aspect of it. Like Lynn said, I don't know how we're certainly not experts at all, but you know, we do like gadgets. So
Well, anymore, it's hard to be an expert at everything. Pretty much almost everyone's specialized. So, yeah.
well, you know, the opportunity to take God's word around the world in a flash like that, like you know, you say why online ministry? Just it's just unprecedented. I think to be able to. I mean, this morning it was really cool when you were talking about, and Ryan and Boyd were talking about people coming in from all over the world and chatting and popping in and watching, and you don't know who you're gonna you don't know who you're gonna reach and how you're
That's
gonna
right.
reach them. And I mean, it's just it's so exciting.
Mhm.
You know, so we'd like, you know, we can support them, be a part of it, you know, and we want to learn and we want to help.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Well, any of you guys want to tell your story? So, like, especially maybe Amy and Jolene, since they probably aren't going to see you as often.
I
Well,
can.
my story is in that the church that left the building. I mean, they can, you know, you can watch that episode. But you know, I came from a Catholic church background, and I just kind of got away from the whole thing. I went through some things in my early adult life, just kind of got away from everything at first. I was probably away from Jesus for probably 15 years. And then one day, Michelle Vossmer, she works there at Westside with the children, and she was online, and I'm a Facebook friend of hers from another way online that we connected, and she just kept posting about the online campus. And back around Christmas in 2011, I clicked on it, and I've just slowly been building my relationship with Westside and with Jesus, and had my baptism up here in Iowa last July, and it's been wonderful. And I do a lot of online ministry with my social media group. I have online life groups that I lead and am part of through Facebook, and I continue this, and I have a big project planned with a life group this fall with a 31-week study that I'm ramping up for right now, and I just do a lot with my online ministry, and I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, Jolene does an amazing job. It's been really neat to see her go from just a Facebook invite from a friend here, go all the way full circle, you know, to getting baptized online and everything, all the way up till now. You know, she's an experienced captain where she actually owns a whole service, the 5 o'clock service. So if you guys do the 5 o'clock, you'll probably see
Okay.
Jolene. She'll probably be your experienced captain.
Great.
And it's really neat to hear her story. So Amy, tell them a little bit about you.
Let's see. I started with the online campus about 2 years.
Almost since the beginning, right?
Yeah, like almost since the beginning. Jason's had to deal with me for that long, so we all should give him a round of applause for that. Let's see. I started going to help out with the online campus as mainly a joke. I didn't realize that this was going to go this long and still be here with this. I'm in charge of the volunteer everything, so Jason likes to call me the Tinkerbell.
Yep. Sprinkles fairy dust in all of us to make us fly.
Yeah. So if you ever receive a gift and stuff like that, that's normally from Jason, because he's...
So true.
Yep. So now I live in Greensburg, and I'm still able to be a part of the online campus, which I think is awesome.
You know, I guess that another thought. I mean, the scheduling process that we just kind of got invites and so I thought that was very slick. To be able to accept or give dates when you can't make it. Or I mean, that seemed to work very well. And are reminders sent out at all, or do those or
They should be. It depends on your communication settings that you have within My West Side.
okay?
Whether or not those go out on regular basis.
Okay.
Sometimes those can get stuck in your spam folder too.
I get them from the gallery. I just didn't know if it was so. It goes through My West Side. Is that okay? Okay,
Right.
great. Then we'll get them. I just
So if
didn't know.
we sign up for them in one service, in one volunteer aspect, it'll work the same for any that you're involved in, or do you have to do it in?
Well, I can't speak for how the gallery does it. I can speak for how we do it. And how we do it, we run it all through My West Side. So that's where the communication kind of be coming through.
Yeah, we get those. Anyway, I really like the process. I just
Great.
It seemed to work nicely.
You guys are rocking it.
Yay!
All right. So here's some new stuff that I want to kind of run by you. Well, before we get into that, let's go into eval mode a little bit. How has it been for me on my end, me being, hosting, doing the opening, kind of being in there, kind of not, just kind of ducking in and out and not having so much of a primary role in the online campus? For me, it's been very eye-opening and helpful for me to get involved in lots of other areas of church. So it's been great. And I see you guys stepping up in huge ways, and I appreciate that. I would like to know from your perspective, because my perspective is one-sided. How is your guys' perspective? Are you feeling like, oh, finally, Jason let us do our thing? Or are you feeling like, oh, crap, we need more help, and please, Jason, come back? I mean, how are you guys feeling about me kind of being in and out?
Well, I think it depends on the service. Some services were slammed, and we can use you being around there. There's times, there's other. It's been fine. I mean, I know what to do now, but I mean, it's just like sometimes 8:30 can be very slim on people, and sometimes that service is dead. Sometimes that service gets slammed. And, it just all depends on the service. And there are times that people are specifically looking for you. They know that this is your element, and sometimes they're looking for you. They want to speak to you specifically about something.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'm glad for you that you're able to do other things, but I mean, I see both sides of this.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Sure, that makes sense. Amy, what are your thoughts on it? Have you had a hard time scheduling people?
8:30 is the hardest one to schedule right now, and coming into summer,
Yeah.
I just had to put people in places. And so with that issue of summertime coming, and so now the scheduling for some people are going to be even slim now. And we even had some people who were mainly doing the 8:30 service, and they have actually stepped back now. And so trying to find those people to fill those roles will be challenging, and I'm sure God will place them. So.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yep. But so far, I haven't had to schedule you yet, and so, in my opinion, everything's going great on that end.
Yeah.
But I'm not on site anymore, so I just have mainly.
And sometimes there's people who are scheduled, and we think that we've got it covered, and then they don't show up.
Yeah. Well, that's
You know, so
that's life.
Yeah,
We're gonna have
you
people
know-
like that.
right, it is.
What's
And that's why I'm saying, Jason, that sometimes
Yeah, Beth.
it depends on the service, whether or not, we actually really need to have you there, or whether we can get by without you being there. It really does depend on the service.
Okay. Well, I think Amy brings up a good point, and you too, Jolene. That going forward in the summer, just know, Amy, that if you need to schedule me, go ahead and do so. There will be a few weeks when I'll need to go on vacation with my family, and that will be butted up against one of the times in which I'm speaking this summer. But other than that, I don't have a ton that's scheduled.
Okay.
I should be more available now that, again, I don't know how much the hosting, they're trying to get a rotation going with this hosting thing.
Mhm.
It all started off as an experiment, and so it was hard for me to say, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing forever, or if it's just going to be something I'm going to do for a month, or if there's going to be a rotation. We're still trying to work all that out. So as long as I know that there's a certain level of flexibility, then we're good.
Yeah.
And I think going forward in the summertime, I'm actually going to probably be more available than I am right now. Because right now, between non-hosting and all the other stuff that I got going on, it's been kind of hit or miss. And I've appreciated the team picking up the slack on that.
See, and for me, it's going to be just the opposite. I'm going to get more busy here in the summer, whereas come fall again, then I can pick up my 8:30 and 5 with no problem whatsoever. But I'm going to be more spotty here in the summer.
Would you email me and tell me that, or Facebook me and tell me that?
Me?
Mhm. So that
Okay,
I
yeah, I
will for the 8:30 and the 5 o'clock.
Well, no, I will. I will go ahead and submit my schedule, Amy,
Okay.
and then I will go ahead and continue to do them. But if I find out, say, middle of the week that I'm not going to be there at 8:30, I will go ahead and post it in our volunteer area on Facebook so
Okay.
you all know.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so some of the new things that are happening, the SimLive stuff we're still working on. I know that we have a lot of support from the team to do it. I just have to get, stuff done. Basically, with Hernan here, a lot of extra stuff that was on my plate just got pushed off until he leaves later next week. So SimLive, basically right now we're running all of our services live. So we're limited to when church is done here. But going forward, what we're trying to do is to offer service times at other time slots using the video from the previous service or from the previous week's service, and opening up new time slots for folks so they can interact and get the notes. We probably are going to start off without turning any chat or live prayer on. We're just going to pilot it that way and see what kind of traction we get. As volunteers show up that want to do it, and Jolene, man, you just knocked it out of the park with recruiting volunteers for stuff we don't even have yet. That's awesome.
Well, I was going to say, we will, whenever you're ready to go, I've got volunteers ready that we will do 2 Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. And if you can get somebody else to take the other 2 weeks, I'm taking life group time for 2 weeks of my, during the month, and we will do a 7 p.m. service on Wednesday.
Okay, that's awesome. So, I think what that will do for us is we can reach so many more people that way, because the way that our ads and stuff are designed, we have a grant that allows us a certain level of budgeted amount per day. By moving it other days other than Sunday,
Oh, yeah.
we can really reach a whole lot more people.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that since 80% of our crowd is generally there for the first time, whenever we're in a series and we're talking about stuff that happened last week or the week before, they have no clue. There's no way for them to easily get that information or to like binge watch to get up to, up to speed.
Yeah.
And so we want to offer that.
Nice.
So anyway, that's what we're working toward. We're not quite there yet. The hardware is still on order and it's not here yet. Jared's going to be calling them this week and finding out what the status is on the hardware, but hopefully we should be getting that soon. Oh, there is two more things. One, iMinistry conference in October. You guys are probably familiar with, for the past 2 years, yeah, Amy's clapping because she knows. That's really fun. They're having it again in October at Lake Point Church in Dallas. Anyone who would like to join us in that, let me know.
What is it?
It's a conference dedicated specifically toward people who do online ministry.
Cool.
And so you have,
We're interested.
yeah, you have a lot of folks that do from like really big online ministries. Last year we had a guy from Facebook come and tell us how to do better engagement with Facebook posts and pages and groups and stuff like that. This year we're going to be changing it up a little bit and doing more of a roundtables, so we can share best practices with other folks that are doing it around the world. And so it's always a lot of fun, especially, and Amy knows this, it's especially cool to get just sit down and have a meal with other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing, but in a different context, in a different place, but we all kind of talk the same language. It's so funny, because we're all kind of doing the same thing. And so it's kind of like, when pastors get together, they all kind of have the same conversations and that kind of camaraderie, and we all pull for each other and pray for one another, and it's really a lot of fun. Yeah, that'll be in October, and I'll get you guys dates. I'll post that in the Facebook group. And so any of you guys that are interested in going, let me know. The other thing is, we have a new Get Connected that got reshot and filmed. Our Get Connected is going on right now, which reminds me, could one of you guys check that real quick?
Yeah, I
Make
can.
sure that we are not neglecting someone who's trying to do a Get Connected online right now. It's been redone, so I'm going to have to do some extra work. My goal is that by the next time we do a Get Connected, it will be the new version and not the old version that we're using right now. So that means updates with materials, slides, all of those sorts of things. It's going to be a little bit of work on my end to get that up to speed. That's one of my projects. I want you to be aware of that. And also, lately, since we haven't had our table, and this really only relates to folks that are here on site, since the all-in wall is taking up what used to be our online table, where we got together and did our stuff, and since nobody really liked being in the stadium seating because everybody looked at us weird since we had our laptops open, and they thought that we were just goofing off, when really we're doing online ministry. Totally. And it was a little crowded. It was kind of crunched and stuff. So what's been happening organically over Easter, we took over that little corner section that Amy recommended, and that was cool. We can continue to do that. But what's been happening lately is everybody's just kind of congregating around my office. Now that's getting too small. And so
The roof.
yeah, Jared had recommended that we could take up, he has an office area that he could let us use. Right now it's got a bunch of gear in it, but he wants to do kind of an open house sort of thing. And I like his idea because
when you first walk in,
Yeah, when you first walk in.
those two offices?
Yeah, those two yeah,
Oh, okay.
that area.
So like, yeah, so when you go around it, then it's on your left, the green room?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
I thought
About
that was something
upstairs
awesome.
somewhere? No?
Down here, it's like right across the doors that are right across from the men's bathroom,
Okay.
across that hall. And so as soon as you
You've
walk in
probably
the
never
door,
been in
there's
there.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm in a Tuesday morning group. I think we meet in there, actually.
Oh yeah, in the green room.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
in the green
yeah.
room.
You know when you first walk in, there's offices in front of you?
Uh-huh.
He's talking about those.
Oh, okay. I know. what
So
you're
instead of us being crowded in his office, we can have two large office areas for us.
I know what you're talking about. Cool.
Exactly. And so the idea is that there are a couple of benefits to that. One would be if anything really bad happens, you're like just one corner away from getting to Jared and the encoder box to resolve any stuff, which was a little bit slower response times from my part. When stuff would break, you guys would say, okay, and I'd say, I'm on it, and basically what that means is I'm like running all the way down the lobby, all the way down the hallway, going in, taking a look at the encoder box, making sure we got all green lights, and then kind of troubleshooting from there. This will make it a little bit easier for the team to be in that space.
You could just walk.
And you could just be right there and know exactly what's going on.
Reach.
And since the only downside to that place, that space, is I don't know where you would get a decent video feed. That was one thing that was really nice about Amy's place in the corner up at the top of the bridge, that you could see the video.
Oh.
In our case,
Can they just wire a TV screen?
no. I know it sounds easy, but the amp is only rated. We're over capacity on our amp as it is,
Oh.
and that's why sometimes out here, the signal will turn like red and pink this morning, and green and all
So
kinds
that's
of
what
funky
that
things
is.
in the gallery, because we're over capacity, and the amp can't get to all the TVs that we're pushing signal to. So we can't really add another TV without turning another one off. So anyway, those are logistical things.
Jason, what, you mentioned it. So when people need to contact you for those kinds of things, when
Uh-huh.
issues come up, do we text you or how? What's the best?
As a
Or
chat
is it-
artist, your best way of doing it is in the volunteer chat,
Okay.
letting the experienced captain know.
Okay.
In your case, it will probably be Jolene
Okay.
most of the time. And it's just
Yes.
in the volunteer chat, hey, I'm
Yeah.
having a problem with such and such.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
And they are all trained to know exactly what to do. They have like a whole list of things, troubleshooting list. as to
Because
get
most
contact.
likely we've all been through the exact same thing.
Right.
As problem-wise.
Were you going to say something, Jolene?
Yes, I was. We have a new streaming provider now, right?
Well, yes and no. What we have is we're using the same streaming provider that we had before, but we're pushing HD signal out and have had to change the bit rates accordingly. So we're using the same service, but the stream has changed. We're going to be
So
moving-
we don't have different people than we have to contact. Is what my question is going to be.
right now it's the same.
Okay.
When we make the switch over, I'll let you know what the phone number, because you're going to have your contact's going to be different because we're going to be going with a different company. When that happens,
That's
I'll
what I want.
let you know.
Okay.
But that's a great question. Something that I would have forgotten, and will probably need reminding, when the time comes. So that's great.
Okay.
Glad you guys were that way. Was there anything else that you guys needed to mention?
Pizza was good.
Pizza was good.
Yes.
Yes.
Salad too.
Nothing that I can think of.
Okay.
Did you have pizza, Julie?
I'm glad you got your desktop
Pardon
up and with the webcam. That's awesome.
Okay.
Well, it's going for now anyway.
Okay. Well, is there anything then that you would like for us to pray for?
One other question: these meetings are great. Are these regular or
Yes.
like
Whenever
every-
we do a Get Connected here on site,
Okay.
take advantage of this.
Right.
Exactly. And we'll do a Get Connected online at the same time.
Oh.
So what that does for folks is all the advertisements and all the push for a Get Connected, we take advantage of that way too. And then since everyone's here anyway, and I got to man that feed anyway, I figured we might as well have a meeting. We got food. I got to be here extra anyhow. Let's take advantage of it. So that's kind of just keep in your mind anytime we have a Get Connected, and that's usually about every month. That's when we like to have our meetings too.
Do many people do get connected online?
No.
I'm like right now we got 23.
So
Still?
I would love to see that go up, and part of the new video is part of that strategy. Right now, the whole Get Connected strategy has been limited to just this meeting here, or at the Speedway when they do it, or the online thing. What they want to start doing is putting Get Connected in such a way and formatting it in such a way that it can be an experience of a group. So you could do it at somebody's house. You've got all the videos, you've got all the materials. You can do Get Connected that way. So it's basically to distribute and decentralize the Get Connected experience. And once we do that in a decentralized fashion, then we can start pushing the online experience a little bit harder, because it will be pretty much the same thing as what everybody's going to be getting at homes and all that around. One of the things that has inhibited us from online growth with the Get Connected class is that they didn't want to cannibalize folks from coming to the on-site by offering it online, because the path of least resistance will always be the one that people will choose naturally. So that's why you'll never hear from the platform, oh, we're having a Get Connected, or you could just join us online too, because
Yes, right.
they'll not just do that. So, which I totally understand, but it kind of keeps us from being able to take advantage of it from an online perspective, like I would like for us to. But I get it.
Do you keep track of, I thought one of the things I was really interested in this morning was how many people have visited, how many people are online, different. Are there analytics or metrics or, over time that you report? And,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
I'm up there in his office with him, and he checks it, after every service, because each service is recorded on, the people from which region, which country, which state.
I'd love to.
And
is that
how
published
many.
anywhere? Or that's neat information.
It is neat information. One of the things, because the numbers are so large, I tend to share that with a limited group of people that understand what's going on, because I don't want to give people a false impression or get our focus in the wrong place. While the numbers are great and they count, what I'm really more interested in what we do with those people when they come, because it is, like, for example, one of the disadvantages of online ministry is that we cannot control the environment in which someone experiences our service. When you're here, you can control the environment.
Sure.
And peer pressure will keep people from just standing up randomly and walking out. But that happens all the time online. They'll check us out, they'll look for 5 minutes, and it's like, oh,
Wait till the football game starts.
oh, the football game or whatever, or the kid screaming or whatever, and then they close it and they're gone, right? Now, how that gets counted is very difficult, because you count that person or not. They were engaged for a good 5 minutes there.
So you
And
don't
so-
even know the length of their.
Well, the length of the time is very difficult for us to gauge, and so because of that, a couple of things are difficult. One is, because you have an IP, does it mean that IP is not the same thing as a butt in the seat? It could be more. And what a lot of online ministries have found when they do metrics with people with surveys and such, that generally an IP represents, on average, 1.7 people. Now, I don't count that. I let it be. I don't like inflating my numbers just because. It's just, it's a rough estimate. It's just a number. And because of the way that our site is designed and the way that Google Analytics registers things, it can calculate time on site by what people click on. So if you have a person and the only thing they do is go to online.westsidefamilychurch.com, they're there and they only look at the video and they don't touch anything, it will look like a bounce, which means they got on and closed the window because there was no interaction on that page for 15 minutes.
And that's what, like, when for some reason we can't be here, we watch online, that's what we do.
Yeah, or what they do is they'll go to the video and then they'll full screen the video for an hour, which is fine, you know. But how that gets counted then is the time on site would be between your first interaction and which would be clicking that full screen, right? So if you do that within the first 30 seconds and then you full screen it and don't do anything else, then it would count as your time on site as being 30 seconds. When really you were there an entire hour.
Yeah.
Because you didn't touch anything, there's no way for us to know. And because of the way that the site is structured and the way that Google Analytics works, we can't really know how long people stay. So that number could be inflated or not. It's really difficult because sometimes people be clicking on some Google ad or whatever, they pop in, they're like, oh, what's this? Close, boom. Now it'll get registered as a hit, as a unique hit, but they've only been on for 30 seconds. You know, it's really difficult. The numbers, while they're helpful to know, to mark trends as to whether or not.
Trending is what I was
The
thinking.
trending is the big thing for me, not the actual number itself. So when we say things like, when we first started almost 4 years ago, that same number we're tracking today.
Exactly.
And so that number way back in the day was 30, and now it's 4,500.
Yeah.
So that tells me something. Now, whether that number 30 and that number 4,500, what that actually means, well, that's a different story. That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
So when it comes time for us to make decisions based upon budget or based upon staffing, the number that I tend to look at a little bit more closely is our returning visitors. And that, when you were looking at that, that little dashboard that I've created, you have the big number, unique IPs, or return, and then unique visitors, and then returning visitors. The returning visitor, for me, gives me a better sense of what our community really is. And that today was like 800-900, something like that. And that's usually where it's at. I feel with more confidence just by the interactions that I have online, because I've been a pastor and have been a campus pastor, and I know the level of drama and the level of pastoral care that you have to deal with whenever you're dealing with a certain size of people, it feels about right. That number seems to about match the level of care that I'm needing to do personally and delegate. So when it comes to staffing and budgets, the pastoral team looks at our online campus as being a campus of about 800. However, when it comes to weekend attendance, you know, the number, it's kind of a fuzzy number, but it's good to know the trend. And I've seen them both kind of working together, which they should.
Right.
You know, when I bump up, you know, the ads and that sort of thing, when we get our first number, our big number higher, the returning number over time tends to go up too. So that's a good thing, because what that means is that we're a little bit sticky. Now, we're not nearly as sticky as an on-site scenario, because in order to get someone on-site, there is a considerable greater investment. They have to get dressed, they have to get in their car, they have to drive over here, and then they're here for an entire hour, because it's a little bit embarrassing to just stand up and walk out. So the level of investment and stickiness is greater. Whereas online, it's just like bump, bump, you're just in and out. So it's a different animal. You have to think of it a little bit differently. But the life change that is happening, though, is real. And people are coming to know Christ, and people are getting baptized, like Jolene.
In their pajamas.
Yeah. And so life change does happen, and people, you know, it's really cool.
Do some people start attending physically?
Oh yeah, and that's another thing that occurs too, is that folks will generally pick us out online before they ever come on site.
Well, that's a good,
And so just for our on-site health, the online campus has been a healthy thing for us too. And it definitely has helped us, even for the folks that are on-site people, when they're gone for a couple weeks on vacation or their kid's sick or whatever, it helps them to stay in step with where God is leading us as a church. And that's all good.
We
And,
appreciate that.
yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but it blew my mind, and it was like a real confirmation of what you guys do on the team. Is at some point I forgot how it happened, but Sutherland asked everybody who has been on the online campus, raise your hand. Everybody raised their hands in the room. Everybody. And I looked around and I was like, okay, this is really cool, because you have a bunch of people that are on site, but you can tell that sometime this year they've been online too. And so we've just really helped them to stay in step with where the church is going. So while our on-site attendance might look like, and we can tell because of Kid Check-In, our on-site attendance looks like we've got people attend 2 weeks out of the year. 2 weeks out of the month, rather.
Right.
2 weeks out of the month. Generally, they're here about half the time. And that affects the way that we do our announcements, it affects the way we do our planning, all those things it affects. But to know that while it may be true that they're on site maybe only 2 weeks out of the month, there could be another week or maybe another 2 weeks where they would be online as well. And even the folks that I've seen online, and you guys know this too, like Paul I this morning, that's Paul Infante. He's the bass player. He's usually here on a Sunday, but he couldn't make it. And so, he came online. So that was a service that he didn't miss. Although here on site, it wouldn't get counted. He's still with us. So all of that works to our favor too, online. Okay, so does anybody have anything to pray for? Last time we prayed for you, Amy, with finals. How did that go?
I almost failed marriage and family again, but I pulled a D out, so we're happy with that.
Hey, Chad.
I still have my 3.0, so it's cool.
Okay, awesome.
So everything went out wonderful. So
Great. And Jolene, I know that we had prayed for you with your jobs and that sort of thing that you're getting. How's that going?
Well, we're still making it week to week, so that's the main thing. I mean, it's always a struggle for us, but we're doing okay, and we appreciate the prayers.
Okay, awesome. And we were praying for you too with finals.
Yeah.
Ryan, how did you do?
I did pretty good.
Pretty good passing?
I still got finals this week,
Oh, okay.
but the pre-final tests, which now we do,
Mm-hmm.
I did pretty good on that.
Awesome.
Yep.
Was there anything else that you wanted us to pray for? Jolene, why don't you start us off?
Nope, I was going to say, I just need some, just for work. Just keep praying for work for us.
Okay. We can do that. How about you, Amy?
I'm trying to figure out my schooling situation with Barkley and everything, and so I'm kind of debating on 2 different options, and so prayer for that.
Okay. Yep. Do any of you guys have anything that you wanted to share?
So I'm leaving tomorrow for basically 3 weeks, and
Okay.
business travel mainly, all this, maybe some fun stuff. But in the course of that, one of the things is I'm getting together with a bunch of guys from the fraternity. Some I haven't seen in, maybe once in 30, 35 years.
Wow.
And, one of them has terminal brain cancer. Actually, that's why we're getting together.
Wow.
So, while he's still, capable of. He's not a believer or wasn't. So just, a couple of us have talked about visiting him and trying to. You're looking for opportunity to talk about Jesus, and
totally.
so just prayers that God bring that to pass.
Great. Yeah,
So-
we can definitely pray for that.
Be out there about get to go, and so it'll be a fun time.
Cool. Well, you could pray for me that I could just manage my time well. Because I haven't been doing too hot at that lately. With all the
Busy
added
guy.
stuff. Yeah, but
Busy.
yeah, I don't like to be where I'm at right now. I like to be a little bit more in control of stuff. But yeah, you guys can pray for me about wisdom and how to just let the things go that don't matter, so that the things that do don't get pushed off. Yeah. So we're still praying for your finals. Praying for wisdom for Amy. Work for Jolene. You got anything?
Math final.
Math final. We'll work on that. We will work
Father
on
and
that.
son air punch.
Yeah, we will work on that. Okay. All right. Why don't I just close this in prayer? I appreciate you guys coming and for sharing this time with us,
Thank you.
getting all organized and stuff, and we'll do this again in about a month, I think. All right. God, I thank you for just being with us, for allowing us to partner with you as you touch people in unique ways wherever they're at, all around the world, and for us to be a part of that process, to be tools in your hands. That is just such an awesome privilege. Thank you. And as we continue to get better at what we do and to learn more about how we can more effectively expand your kingdom, give us wisdom. And for each of us in our personal lives, may the work that we do just be another extension of what you're doing in our hearts, in us personally, whether that means, helping us with finals, or just managing time better, or figuring out what to do with school, or just depending on you for work, or just understanding math, or sharing your hope and your love to old friends that may not know you. God, just work in all of this stuff. May your hand be strong, and may we get a sense of your presence. Give us the courage to make the right decisions and to follow your leading no matter what. And we'll leave the results up to you, and we'll leave the glory to you as we expand your kingdom. Thank you for this team. Bless them. Make their sleep count double. Make their work be fruitful. And may there just be much joy in knowing that what we do really, really matters. In Jesus' name, with that same authority, I ask as one of your children. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah. Thanks for all you do. You guys are rocking it. We'll keep in touch in Facebook and all that mess, and we'll see you guys online in the chat.
Okay, thank